Hey YouTube, it's Jaden. Um, hey Grandma, if you watch this, uh, found out my grandma, like, not religiously watches my YouTube videos, but she subscribed, which is actually really nice. If there was anyone in my family that I would want to watch my YouTube videos, it would probably be my grandparents. Nobody else. um, but I guess it's a little weird though because I do be saying a lot of things that I feel like is just for myself, but I don't know. Anyways, including this video, actually, funny enough, I was thinking about what happened a couple months back, um, when winter break first started. I came back to, you know, my place, my humble abode, um, and so, you know, every 2 Saturdays, me and my mom, and also my voice is a little rugged because I've been sick for the past couple days, but I feel better. So my voice is actually sounding better than it did like 2, 3 days ago. But that's besides the point. Anyways, um, my family, my mom's side of the family is full of women, which isn't a problem. That's not a problem at all. But I'm glad to know that it's not just me. But you know, obviously, and I always thought it was obvious, but it was like I never saw it, I guess, from anybody else until I've been on like TikTok enough to know that there's plenty of like men, a lot of black men that they were raised by like a lot of women, to which they are like noted as like more sensitive than the average guy. Um, stuff like that. Um, to which the same could be said by me or about me, especially back then. Um, I was definitely the type that I would like. You could definitely like, what's the word? You could definitely like not use me. That sounds terrible, but you could definitely like you know, how would I put it? Yeah, it's like use me to the best of your not abilities, but essentially I'll do whatever you say. That, you know, I was definitely like that back in elementary school, and a little bit like that in middle school. Then it kind of settled down in like high school. I'm definitely not like that anymore, but I was definitely um, that type of kid, you know. And I kind of saw it as like me being generous, you know. But looking back at it, like looking back in hindsight, like it's definitely people were just using me. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason, there shouldn't be a reason why I'm doing like 6 kids' homework. You know what I mean? I mean, it didn't help that I liked math, you know, but even if I like math, I shouldn't be doing other kids' homework like that, or classwork, you know what I mean? So that was like the type of kid that I was, but it got better as time went on because I started to understand that about myself. But and I would kind of like to blame it on the fact that I was my mom's side of the family is like all women, and I never spent as much time with my dad's side of the family than I did my mom's side. I still got to see my dad. Definitely like a decent amount of time. Like a huge portion of my life was spent with my father. It's just that I live with my mother. Like I see my dad every break that I can. It's just that I live with my mom. And like I said, like watching TikTok now, like it's good to know that there's a lot of other, young adults, young men that also felt that same way. But like I said, now that I'm getting older, I spend way more time with my father than I can, because I'm trying to make up for all the time that I lost, you know. I'm trying to make up for all the lessons that I never learned, uh, because I would like to say that, I guess, as a heterosexual guy, I think you should have both. You should have a mom figure and a dad figure in your life. I think, well, it doesn't matter what sexuality you are. I think you should have both your parents involved in your life, right? So, you know, like I said, now I'm trying to like have it to where it's like 50-50 even, where I'm spending a lot more time with my father than I kind of am with my mom, because now I get to see my dad's side of the family more, and I get to instill that boyish side of me, as corny as that sounds, And with that being said, I find it really funny because I am changing. Like I've changed. I've definitely changed. Like me in 10th grade was definitely different than me in like 12th grade, and like 12th grade was like the year in which like I started to like become who I am now, you know, and a lot of that, like I said, could be I could definitely say a lot of that is because of who my father is, right? And my father is like a man's man, you know. He's a man's man, but he's also sensitive when the time comes, which I feel like, every man should be, every woman should be, that's not really dependent on your gender or your sex, right? But either way, I've been spending more time with my father, and now I've been seeing more of that, like, that the masculine side of me, I guess you could say, right? Like it's funny because what I'm trying to like build up to, what I'm trying to give context to, is like I said. So when I first came back to my humble abode, right? My mom goes to the supermarket every 2 weeks to grab groceries, so I went with her, and I thought it was just gonna be a natural, day where we grab groceries. I get whatever snacks I want, but I also get the salads because I need to eat healthy, and fruits, obviously. By the way, I've lost about 10 pounds. I'm getting there, but let me continue. So, I thought it was just gonna be one of those the average days, because usually the day that me and my mom go to the grocery store, it's like one of the days where it's just me and my mother. We get to just be ourselves. It reminds me back of, excuse me, it reminds me of like online school when it was just me and my mom. Like there was nobody else in the house, and she was like my best friend at the time, so it reminds me of that. So it was me and my mom, and we were driving to the grocery store, right? Now, we got into the grocery store, we got into the parking lot. As we were driving in the parking lot, there was this large white guy. There was this large white guy, and he was standing on like the curb. He was standing on the curb, and my mom didn't notice it, but I noticed it. Well, because I guess my mom was just looking for the parking space. I was, doing my thing. So the white guy was looking at the driver's window, and I'm pretty sure my mom's car doesn't have tinted windows, so I'm pretty sure he could see my mom. I'm pretty sure that's what he was looking at, or who he was looking at, and I'm pretty sure he was looking at my mom. And so, and this is how I could tell. He was looking at the driver's window, and as we were turning, his head was turning. Like, I kid you not, the car was like this, and his head was like this. So as we were turning, right, his head was turning. I noticed it. I was like, what in the world? What is he doing? And I think I said it out loud, but my mom was like, he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, there's this man looking at us. And she tried to like justify it or whatever. And I could understand it, but like I knew what I was looking at. So either way, he ends up going into the grocery store, and then we do as well. We don't come in at the same time, obviously, but we're in the grocery store, and then we're just grabbing groceries, right? I just thought it was a weird occurrence, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's life, whatever. I just hope we don't run into him again. So, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm very sick. But, so we're in the grocery store. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Let me pause this real quick. Okay, I hope I sound better, at least. So we're in the grocery store. I'm pushing the cart. My mom's grabbing the stuff. So we're going down the long way, right? I'm so sorry. We're going down the long way, like where then you can like turn into the aisles. And as we're going down the long way, I see him. So I see him and I tell my mom, and she's like, okay, just don't look at him. He'll probably not look at you. And so I'm like, okay, but like I say okay, but I'm still looking at him. I'm just like, I have my head down, but I'm like looking at him, because I'm trying to see like where his head space is. Because it's like, I think it's still weird that he turned his head to look at my mom as she was turning in to park the car. Like, what is he on? What type of time is he on? You know what I mean? So I'm still pushing the cart and I'm looking at him, and as we get to a certain point, because he's not moving, I'm assuming it was his wife that was in the aisle, because he was just standing still, and he was like holding something while I guess his wife was in the aisle. And we get to a certain like distance with him, and I guess he notices us, and he starts looking at my mom again. I kid you not. He starts looking at my mom again. He's looking, so we're like on his side, right? Like he's looking down the aisle, right? While we're still going the long way. So we're on like his side view. So I don't even know how he noticed us. But I guess because we're like the only black people in the store. So it's like, clearly if you see brown skin, it has to be us. Because, where we live, we're like one of only 5 other black families. But anyways, so we get to like a certain distance, and then he turns his head. I kid you not. So he turns his head and he's looking at my mother, like not me, my mom. So then I'm like, okay, there's something up with him. So I put the cart there. I'm like, I tell my mom, can you hold the cart real quick? I walk up to bro, I kid you not. I walk up to him and I'm like, yo, are you good? Like I walk up to him, I'm like face to face with him. He's a little taller than me. So I'm like, yo, are you good? And he starts stuttering. And this is why I brought up the context of like me being raised by women, but then going to my father, whatever. Because low key, it's not just me who believes that. Like everybody on my mom's side, like believes me to be like this. Pushover. That was the word. That's the word. That's the word that I was thinking of. Everybody on my mom's side, I feel like believes me to be like a pushover, still. But it's like, that's not me anymore. You know what I mean? Like I've changed, like a while back. It's just that it's never been a reason for me to like do that at that time. Like I never needed to walk up to a dude and like confront him about what he was doing, because it was like it never got to that point. Because I mean, certain things happen in college, but it's like it never got to like that. You know what I mean? So it was like I walked up to the dude, and granted he's like 40 something years old, but I walk up to him and I'm like, yo, are you good? And he starts stuttering, because obviously he didn't expect me to walk up to him and confront him. So he starts stuttering, and then his wife, I guess his wife had to tell him to come over there, because then he starts walking down the aisle in which he was looking at. And so my mom sees all of this, and she's like, Jaden, what's up with you? Right? And then I had to tell her, like, like he was looking at you the whole time, you know what I mean? So to make a long story short, after that whole thing happened, like, my mom like looked at me weird or whatever. And I just think it's so funny, because it's like, I'm 19 now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be that same kid that like was doing other people's homework. Like I'm not gonna still be that guy. Like I have to change some way, somehow. Like, I have to stand up for myself. And in this scenario, I wasn't even standing up for myself. I was standing up for my mother. You know what I mean? To which I feel like everybody should. It shouldn't just be like a manly thing. You know what I mean? So it was like, I thought it was hilarious at the time, but I wasn't laughing. Because at the same time, I was still a little like iffy about the dude. Because it was like, I don't know why he was staring at my mom. Like, it was very creepy. Like, I wasn't sure if like he liked her, or like if he was just staring at her, like if he was racist. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was so weird. But like I said, it's so funny because every time like stuff like that happens, it's like when like sometimes my father will say like, oh, I'm my mother's child. Like he'll say like, oh, you're Danita's child if I do a certain thing, like if I'm super nerdy, he'll call me like Danita's child. But then my mom will be like, I don't know what's going on in Irvington where your father stays when I do stuff like that, and it's like, I'm not either or. I'm a mixture of both. Like, I'm y'all's children. I'm a mixture of both. Like, I don't have a sailor's mouth like my father, but like, I will confront someone. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna come to hands, because I'll be honest, I don't know how to fight. Like, I've been in 2 fights in my whole life. But fights don't last long, so it's not like I learned anything from it. And it was in like middle school, so it didn't count for anything anyways. It was against white people too. Like, I feel like it's not a real fight if it's against white people. But either way, I'm saying like, I'm not either or. I'm not Danita's child. I'm not James's child. I'm both of them. Like, you know what I mean? And I think it just took some time for me to like get to that point where like I'm starting to resemble kind of like my father, like I get it now, and I don't know, I just thought it was an interesting story to tell, because like I said, like, I don't know, for some reason I still feel as if they think I'm a pushover, and it's like, that's just not me anymore. Maybe about 5 years ago, yeah, but not really anymore. Yeah, I'm just doing me now, I'm out the way. Like, I think that's the best way to put it. Like, I'm just kind of out the way. Like, if it happens, it happens, but like, I'm not gonna provoke it to happen. Like, I wasn't trying, like in the story, right? I wasn't gonna run up on the dude if I saw him. It's the fact that he started looking at my mother, to which I then did what I did. Because if he didn't look, then it was like, there's no need, right? But if he started looking, then it's like, why are you doing that? Then I had to question his character. Like, what's going on with you? You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm truly changing for a person, but still in a good way, obviously. Like, I'm not a bad person, Speaking of changing, I had an epiphany, I've for some reason, well, it's not for some reason, I definitely know why I'm like this, but I'm not really like a social person. I'm just not, like I said, I'm out the way in a lot of regards. I'm just out the way, and with that being said, like, I didn't go to church that one Sunday because I didn't want to like be around them. Like, it wasn't because I didn't want to go to church. It's just that I didn't want to be around like the people, which is really bad. You know what I mean? So I ended up staying home and watching an online service. Because the thing is that I'm Christian. Like, I believe in my Lord and Savior, right? Like, It's not, because what I heard that really made me like switch, right, was that I heard it from my pastor, right? It was like, you're Christian when you have the choice to, like, because obviously when you're younger and you live in a Christian family, your mother's going to take you to church whether you want to go or not, you know. But when you're old enough to go to church or to at least listen to a sermon, that's what really determines it, right? Because it's like, how much do you want to do? How far do you want to go to really hear from the Word of God, And, so I think, so I say, like, I became a Christian in at 16, right? Because at 16 was when I went to college, and technically, most people are 18, like they're adults when they go to college, but I was 16, so I was, I'm not an adult, but like I'm still kind of independent. So I was still like I was going to Bible study. They were doing Bible study at college. They were they were they had some sermons. I didn't go to the sermons though, because I ended up finding out that they were I think they're called Seventh Day Adventists or something like that. They're the ones that believe that the holy day is on Saturday, and I don't believe in that. So I kind of so I started just watching online sermons, and it was like, the thing is that I'm not gonna run away from God's word, but I shouldn't run away from I shouldn't run away from the congregation as well. But interestingly enough, the sermon that I listened to on that Sunday was very interesting because it really spoke to me, right? So I know that I know that at the bottom of my videos, I usually put down like a song. I put down like a song that I've been listening to, or and it's usually like a rap song. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, Grandma, if you if you made it to this end of the video, but I've really changed my mindset. I wanna remain that way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still gonna put some rap songs down there, but I also want to put some gospel music, because I've always listened to gospel music. Like that never left me. But I feel like I should also share that with you guys as well. So, but yeah, the online church that I've been listening to is Elevation Church. Funny, it's so interesting too. Elevation Church. I think I made this. I think I said this in a video when I was interning in Charlotte. Elevation Church, their main campus is in Charlotte. I could have gone to one of their sermons, but I don't have I didn't have any transportation to do so. But that's crazy. I didn't know that. But yeah. So I listened to Elevation Church. Their pastor Stephen Furtick, and he's a cool guy. He has really good sermons. It's funny because it sounds like a Baptist church the way that he preaches, but I'm pretty sure it's non-denominational. But I'm just yapping at this point, so let me end the video right here. Don't know how I ended up talking about God, but either way, that's not a bad thing. That's never a bad thing. If you haven't worshiped the Lord, if you haven't blessed His name, do it now. You know what I mean? I pray when I wake up. I try to pray before I go to sleep. Pray before you eat. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like I'm still a baby in Christianity, but what's so interesting? That's the other thing. But I gotta keep it short because this video is already like 25 minutes. But I can't keep being competitive. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm a baby in Christianity, it doesn't matter where my mother is or where my stepfather is in Christianity, or that my grandmother's even a pastor, that my aunt's a pastor. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they run their own race. I need to maintain my race and still just at least just walk a step forward or crawl a step forward. So Yeah, but you know, I guess before I do end this video, I do want to thank God that He even did put that on my mind, though. Because I think this is the last thing, I promise. I know my mom was talking about this. I will always remember this because Kanye's kind of a weirdo now. But she was saying how, like, back when Kanye had his choir, I think he might still have his choir, but it was like she was talking about, like, even though Kanye's like a little weird, a little kind of a Trump supporter, even though he not even kinda, he actually he was he called Hitler a genius. Like, I kid you not, he did. If I find the video, I'll link it in the description. Either way, she was saying, even though Kanye is like a Trump supporter, he still has a choir who sings God's music, and in any way, shape, or form, if you can, worship His name and put it out for others to see, I think it's good for you to do. I think that's what she was getting at. So while I still have y'all on video, I think you should do the same. And again, that's why I thank God for waking me up this morning. I still have my trials, but I believe that I will get through, by His power only. So this was a longer video than I thought. I just wanted to talk about the weird white dude, but this actually ended on a good note because I feel good. I actually feel really good. So thank you for listening. And yeah, it's my last day before I move back on campus. So peace.